You're listening to Excellence Above Talent, a podcast where we have the hard conversations about the lives of men and what leads us to achieve greatness and suffer defeat. Hear from other men's journeys as well, as we all learn and grow together to become inspirations to ourselves and those around us. And now your host, Aaron Thomas.
What's up, my beautiful people? Aaron Thomas with Excellence Above Talent. I'm here with Justin Granado. I know, I keep messing up his name. I think it's funny. He still is the number one downloader, and it's not pissing me off, but it is pissing me off.
Downloaded or downloaded?
Downloaded. Number one downloaded podcast on my short podcast of. This will be my 9th one.
He hasn't paid me yet.
Yeah. So we got him back on, and we got my main man, Edmy. He's on here. And we just kind of want to have a conversation. I know they kind of already told themselves a little bit about themselves last time. Is there anything new that's happening in your lives before we jump in? No? Just awkwardly no. You don't have a baby coming or anything like that? Surprise!
Yeah, I came here
to the whole world. I'm having a kid.
Go ahead, Justin. Let us know. Let the whole world
I don't have anything.
All right, so kind of just want to jump into it. Do you think the rise of feminism came from men not doing what they needed to do as men? Does that make sense? Like, do you think, we are, I can't say like the only cause, but are we like the main cause of why feminism is here in the United States? What do y'all think?
Go ahead, Jay.
You go first.
I think we are a big contributing factor to the rise of feminism because me personally, and we can only talk about the experiences that we had or what we've learned, but
for sure.
In my relationship, when we first started out, Maribel did what she needed to do as a wife and everything, and I was kind of just on my video game and from job to job, and she lost that sense of security, and that's something really crucial and that women look for in a relationship. And I think when a man fails to secure a woman in that kind of way, she starts to feel like, oh shit, well I need to collect the bag, I need to do this, I don't need a man, and then eventually we get that, and then we got a whole kind of her friends spreading, I'm going through the same thing, and then we're going through the same thing, we don't need men, and then I think I talked about this with Dylan DeArmond on my podcast too, and he shared the same thing. He's a single dad with 3 kids that he's responsible for. And the mother of his kids kind of stepped away. But at the inception of the relationship, he was playing in bands and kind of doing his own thing. And she was at home kind of going through the postpartum depression, too. That's another thing that we fail to realize how detrimental it could be to a woman's mental health. But anyways, long story short, he did the same thing as me, is not be there for her when she needed it the most and give that security, emotional and financially. And she later on just kind of became more independent and feminist.
Got you. And okay, so one thing I want people to understand is it's not a bad, like we're not talking about it in a bad way. The feminist movement was needed in order for, things to happen in the United States. And I'm just going to focus on the United States. So, it's nothing negative. I just want to have this conversation because I agree with Edmy on we are, one of the reasons why women had to feel like they needed to step up and, create a movement. So, Justin, what do you think?
I think this kind of depends on your definition of what a feminist is, because most of the time there's a few different angles on it because some do it for political reasons, sexual, there's radical versions, things like that, and just
Yeah.
most of them are doing it for the rights of women is mostly where that's derived from to figure out their equalities amongst like a male cohort where he was doing like where a male can do something, and that's kind of I think where that I know of where it came from was so where they're just trying to prove that they're equal playing field or level playing field and of equal caliber as a man and everything he can do, she can also do and stuff like that. I think if anything, yeah, I mean with men, yeah, it drives them to do anything to say, well, hey, I can do what you can do and I can do it just as good as you or if not better. And that's what I mean happens a lot of days now. There's a lot of women in the field that have grown a lot, and they've kind of surpassed a lot of men in a lot of things, um, careers. I mean, everything. I mean, they've expanded what they can do, and that is not to knock and make it sound bad. It's came a long way from what it used to be from back in the day. How it used to be just such man-driven lifestyle and things like that. And I think too, even. Like in the Hispanic culture, it's kind of the same thing. Like it was, hey, the man always worked and the woman couldn't work and she had to stay home and what have you. And that has, changed, I think, exponentially now how it is. A lot of times, sometimes you see the women working and the guy just stay at home dad or something like that. So, I mean, there's just different viewpoints on how you view it and what you think about it, I guess, the angles you look at it.
Yeah. No, I think that we, as men, just, it's passed down. So a lot of stuff that I've learned over time, it was just I saw it or you just assumed that that's what it was. And so I do feel like the feminist movement came about because men, we weren't on our shit. And we created I guess a movement of like women wanting to like take over. And I guess be the masculine male that they were missing in like the relationship. Just me personally, and because men wasn't doing what they need to do as men. Because I think a lot of us get twisted because we go to work and we come home and that's a lot of guys feel like that's enough. But it's not enough. And so it never is, right? But you have to go. I mean, you have to also do like the small work, the little things. Cultivate the relationships with your kids and your wife, and try to help her as much as possible. When you're at the house. I was reading an article. Serena Williams and her husband. Her husband is a billionaire. He's set,
Right.
but he allows her to focus on her career, and he's the stay-at-home dad. I wouldn't mind being a stay-at-home dad, if I was a billionaire, and I had to worry about money. But he's a stay-at-home dad, and he does like the little things, and in the household, like taking care of their daughter and picking her up from school and things of that nature.
Well, sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Justin brought up a good point
Uh-huh.
on radicalism.
Yeah.
Two extremes.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing.
I got you.
As far as equal rights, basic human rights, a woman should have the same rights as a man in that sense. But I feel like their roles have been distinguished for a reason. Women are stronger than men in some ways, and now society as a whole, we've become so accepting of everyone's ideas, and I feel like that's what led to the world being, for lack of a better word, as fucked up as it is.
Yeah.
We got men trying to get pregnant now. We got women trying to be males, and I'm not against homosexuality or any kind of that.
Yeah.
I respect everyone. I have no hate in my heart, but I do think that we've become so accepting of too much things, and we've opened too many doors that shouldn't have been. That's just my personal opinion. And to go along with the whole feminist movement on rising, statistically, dude, this was a study done by a university. Women have more independency, careers, jobs, they're independent, blah, 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 than what they were in the 60s. But there's been a large majority of depression reported among women at the same time.
Gotcha.
So I feel like that's a correlation. Sometimes we don't realize, but we think we want something, but it's not really what we were called or meant to do.
Yeah.
To be.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're saying, it got too crazy, opening so many doors. It's like if you have a house and you made so many extra keys to your house, and you're letting everybody in, and it's only going to take, your house can only take so much before it loses its structure, before it falls apart. You know, when you got to narrow it down, and you can only trust so many people with certain keys. Kind of goes hand in hand with that.
So I guess like what is it? Where does it stop then? Like, because we have, the way, I mean, we have,
I have an idea.
we have like how we think about certain things, and I mean, we all think about certain things in the way that we see it, and there's no like right or wrong when it comes to it. Just me personally, there's no right or wrong, because you have to deal with whatever it is that you chose,
Right.
and how you lived your life. And I, as a person, I can't focus on what you are doing, because that takes away from the energy of what I could be doing. So like, is it ever going to stop, or is it something that's just going to continue like going?
I get where you're coming from on that. Like, we can't control what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
But we can stand up for ourselves and set boundaries.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not against homosexuality in any way.
Yeah.
Again, I don't have hate.
It kind of sounds like you are, because you said it like twice. You said, if you say it again, like you didn't. Yeah. I got you.
Because people can misconstrue what I'm saying.
I got you.
But my whole thing is like them forcing that on our kids.
Yeah.
Now, I get it, you're gay, and you like, I'm cool, I have gay friends, dude. We're going to a gay wedding next year.
Yeah.
And I love those guys, those girls, they're awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And I have gay friends, whatever. Justin's one of them.
Kiss me right now.
Justin's one of them. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I'm not okay with like when they go read to the kids and they're dressed up like,
drag and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's dragging it into our kids, and our kids don't know any better. And basically, what that is saying is, hey, it's okay.
Yeah.
If you want to wear a dress, and I think that's where I draw the line, dude. Like, no, it's not okay. And the way to stop it is more men. Right now, I'm gonna get like conspiracy theories on you guys, but dude, let's go back to the 60s. In the 60s, let's say COVID came around in the 60s.
Yeah.
Okay. And the government's like, you got to shut down your business. You got to wear a mask. You got to take a vaccine. Fucking men would stand up in arms and be like, what do you mean we got to do that shit?
Yeah.
They'll defend themselves, right? Their rights. Now, all men are docile.
Yeah.
They're accepting of everything. I feel like more men need to stand up and be like, hey, dude, I'm not fucking okay with this. Like, we need more men to stand up. That's what I think.
I got you.
And I
like the COVID, because I got COVID. I mean, I got the shot. So like, but I also don't view myself as a docile man neither. Like, it's more of a.
Well, it's freedom of choice.
Yeah.
They're taking that away
I got you.
from
So
us.
it's the choice. So the choice is where you feel like people need to stand up and well, just think about this. Like when you're talking about like, people who are gay, or people who choose to drag or whatever. Just think in the 50s and 60s, like with black people. Like, I'm pretty sure white people were like, they're forcing these niggers on us. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure like that's how they felt.
No, we're definitely getting canceled there.
But yeah, for sure. But
It's a mixed cancel
but I feel like, that's kind of what opened up, the movement to like, to have black people be viewed as equal. I mean, we're still not viewed as equal in some people's like, eyesight, and that's totally fine. But it's just one of those things where, I mean, I don't know if that's like a correlation, but I feel like, you can't stop what's going to happen. And you can stand up, yes, for sure.
But King made a lot of waves, dude.
100%.
You get what I'm saying? And he had an idea. He's like, I have a dream.
Yeah.
And he made so many waves in the world. And,
Yeah.
And people got behind him. And that's what I mean. We need more men like Martin Luther King, dude.
I got you.
Like Cesar Peña, like a lot of leaders to stand up. Men. Again, I really do think this is a systematic approach to oppress men.
Okay.
I feel like we're seeing that now a lot. I watch movies now, and like the men there was a show that Maribel was watching on Netflix, and it's like the wife got so enamored with the guy that she had sex with prior to marriage.
Yeah.
And the guy hits her up, bro.
Sex life or something like that.
Something like that,
Yeah.
dude. And like she's got a badass life, husband, works,
Yeah.
nice house, kids, but she's still like, I want to fucking jump back in there.
Yeah.
And like I know it's a show and all that, but they eat the shit up, Grey's the 50 Shades of Grey. And the guy in the movie, he finds out about it, and he like instead of confronting the guy, he sneaks in and like keeps tabs on them and like tries to see. I didn't see it, but she explained it to me.
There was a shower. There was a shower
It
scene.
sounded like I watched it.
So you mean Facebook? It's
Yeah.
what it sounds like. Facebook is
In that show, there was a shower scene, and the dude followed the dude into the shower. He was taking a
Wait,
shower.
what?
In that show,
Okay.
the same show,
Yeah.
he finds out
The
that
husband, right?
the husband finds out the dude is like still smashing his wife, and so he goes into the shower with the dude, and he's taking a shower. And then the dude turns around. He's got like a slong, you know what I mean? And he's like, God bless. Like he's like,
But
he's like,
confront him?
no, he doesn't confront him. He just looks at his like he looks at his he looks at his
Good job, Chef.
he looks at his penis, and then he like looks in the air because apparently it's like a huge ass penis. And he's like, I can't compete with that type deal. You know what I mean? And then he gets out of the shower. And I'm just like, bro, like I don't know if I would. Yeah, I don't know if I would do any of that. But yeah, that same show, he does that.
And what I meant by that is like, I feel like it's being fed to us, and the whole systematic approach of what I'm talking about is like they're trying to oppress men to be more susceptible and accepting and docile, bro. And now there is men that don't, like you said, and going back to you taking the COVID shot,
Yeah.
like I'm all for freedom of choice, bro.
Yeah.
But what's going on is they're subjectifying or they're like there's some kind of animosity if you don't have the vaccine, like, oh fuck, like you're fucking crazy.
But I also think it's and it's something that I am working on. I think it's something that like we view what's going on inside of us, because there's not a like I guess what you see, what you watch, that's what you feel like, that's your reality, right?
Mhm.
And so I don't watch a lot of like news stations.
Right.
So I don't see a lot of people like fighting like I used to,
Mhm.
and I stopped watching the news. I'm like, bro, the news is they're going to tell you one thing or another. It's never like real news. It's never going to be real news. It's going to be, the CNN crew. They're going to, do.
I think it's just like whatever you subscribe to. Like
For sure.
Pushing. Just like you have a friend on Facebook.
For sure.
You have a friend that's way more political, and then there's the girl that always talks trash about her baby daddy.
Yeah.
The guy that always says he's down the dumps. And it's like, well, you can choose to sit there and delete that person and keep following them. And a lot of people just follow it for the drama and all that shit. And it happened the other day. I opened up Facebook the other morning, and there was this girl that, big old paragraph just bashing some dude and woe is me life, and I was like, okay, that's enough. And I went to her profile and I just deleted her. I didn't care. I just no cares in the world. I was like, I don't want to see that. Like I just don't care to see that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
And
it doesn't put you in that mood. You're just like, here we go again.
Right.
No,
And I think that's what's happening in America right now. Like, I don't think we're at odds like they're trying to make us out to be, right? Like there's some Trump supporters, there's Biden supporters and things of that nature. But if you drop all the BS, like we're really down for each other.
Yeah.
But you couldn't tell that from like all the stuff that's really happening. We're not DTFing. Well, I don't know. Well, you and Justin are cool, I guess. But I think it's a media ploy that they push on us. So like we have to like fight for some odd reason, one way or another. Like I have to either be vaccinated or I'm not, and if I'm not vaccinated, then the people who are vaccinated are the enemy. And I'm just like, bro, we're not like. Again, it's your choice. You were able to make that choice. So I want to go back to like you feel like the media and shows are trying to portray docile men. So there's a quote. I'm going to see if I can get it right. I think I heard it on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Gotcha.
So strong times create strong men. Strong men create weak times. Weak times create soft men. Soft men create hard times. Hard times create soft men. And I feel like we're in the soft man stage, and we're creating a lot of hard times, in our life. Awareness. I think awareness is something so like awareness is huge. So you talked about in the beginning, you and Maribel had that separation. You were on your game. You wasn't really paying attention.
Right.
When did you become aware of that?
So one thing that my separation taught me,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of men, I'm sure you can relate,
Yeah.
is the only power you have over someone is to remove yourself.
Yeah.
And Maribel removing herself from the marriage
Yeah.
was like, oh fuck, like, because she would talk about it all the time, like,
Yeah.
please, because in our relationship, bro, like, I was get home from work, fucking play my video game, and like, hi everyone, and then just go play my video game, distracting myself. And people distract themselves with fucking porn, with sex, drugs, whatever, CrossFit,
Alcohol.
whatever.
Just kidding.
Watch your mouth, Mr. Hi, everyone.
Mr.
But CrossFit would be a healthy way of distracting
I'm just
yourself.
kidding, bro. I know.
Well, I mean, we can have that. Like, we can have a healthy distraction.
That is better because it's doing work on your physicality.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyways, that distraction that I was doing, I can't justify that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's nothing to be justified there.
Yeah.
It was a distraction. And Maribel would come to me like, hey, talk to me, like, tell me how your day's been. And I would just be like, yeah. And she's like, dude, if you, like, towards the end, she was like, if you don't start talking to me, like, I'm going to start stepping away. And I would just be like, And when she finally fucking did it, and I started seeing it, and, like, the action behind the words, because talk is cheap.
Yeah.
But when you put fucking action behind what you're saying, it's like, oh, fuck, like, she's really stepping out. And I was like, fuck, I got to, ding, 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 I got to do something. And then going back to the whole CrossFit is a distraction. I didn't mean that by any means, because they talk about Dr. Joe Bean. He has a podcast or a foundation, dude, and they help people go through stuff. He talks about people working on 4 things of their life. Your pies.
Yeah.
Physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual.
Yeah.
If you constantly start working on those things, everything will start to fall into place. And Maribel stepping away from the relationship made me start focusing on those things, which made me better. And instead of going to the clubs, partying and shit like that, I just started to build a relationship with God. But to answer your question, and fixing those 4 things to answer your question, that's the biggest power that anyone has, is removing themselves from a situation like Justin blocking people on Facebook. That's removing negative energy that's being brought onto your life, dude. And the relationship you remove, stepping away from it, is teaching the other person, if they care about you, oh fuck, like, I need to get my shit together. And if they don't, it shows you that they never took me seriously.
So, like, the awareness comes from
someone removing. You don't know what you have until it's gone.
I got you. And so, when you said you got on Facebook and you like saw this chick,
blocked them. I just deleted.
You deleted. Okay, so you deleted so you deleted the comment. So what was
I deleted them.
Oh, okay. Just canceled them.
The whole person.
The whole person.
I'm not gonna lie. I've even done that to my whole family. Like,
That's cool.
I'm big on that energy. Like, it's like, hey, if I know I'm like a loyal dude, I go to bat for you, but you can't do the same for me. Or if you're, sneakily behind my back, just bad mouthing me and for no good reason, or just to hear yourself talk amongst a room of other people, it's like, well, if you have the energy to do that, I mean, keep that same energy when it's sexual truth and stuff like that. Why don't you push it out there? Yeah, do it to my face, or when you're wrong. Why don't you have the same energy and go correct those ways and those words with those same people you sat in that room with and shared those conversations, those negative things with? And people get real shocked when and I've had it with family, and they get real shocked and, I can't believe you're so reacting, blah, blah. And I go, hey, it's just social media. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And they freak out. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, you didn't give 2 shits when you were running my name to your mouth and running my name to the ground. Like, you didn't care. Yeah. So what does it really matter? Like, well, let's all keep that same energy, same vibes. So I'm big on that. I'm big on energy. It's like, I just don't like the negativity. Been through that. I've had that in my life before, and it's just not worth it. I spend a lot of wasted energy just getting upset over things, like just overly upset about things. And it's just, at the end of the day, you kind of go, for what? When you could easily just move them away, move them to the side, and just kind of go away with it. Yeah. And that's what things. That's with relationships. I mean, growing up, my dad was never around. Never was around. We never knew the whole story, why he left. Never knew anything about that. Out of sight, out of mind type of deal. But I always questioned it. And I finally, when I got older and I was in my young adult life, I finally asked my mom about it because I wanted to know. But it was just like this whole thing. I wanted to know what was going on because it was creating that bad energy inside me, and I still had that animosity. And so I was like, I'm going to take it in my own hands. I'm going to get an answer, and then I'm moving on.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. I was like, I'm going to leave it in his court. Whatever he says, maybe we can, salvage something. And if not, okay, oh well.
Move on. You got closure.
Move on. I got a closure.
Got you. So that awareness came from just living life and going through it, and then like understanding I don't want to continue feeling like this or going through something like this, and so I'm not going to put myself in that situation again. So just learning how to just not accept that bad energy, cutting people off, things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, because at the end of the day, like, you can sit there and see how far you can go with or without that stuff. And if you drag that black cloud over you, you're always going to be negative. You're always going to be negative about stuff. And
why does the cloud have to be black?
That's what it is.
How come the cloud can't be like green or yellow
or brown?
Because it backstabs you. But you got to think about that.
Keeping that on there.
You wonder why you're always getting rained on, and I mean, it's because what you allow to happen to you.
And the cloud is gray; it's not black. Usually, the clouds are gray. That's the ones that rain.
This is a serious storm in the middle of Kansas on a warm April afternoon.
Yeah, it's gray. No, I'm fucking with you. No, I honestly think because of my awareness, going through the separation and trying to figure things out.
Well, I mean, like what you're saying, like having that awareness, you can also see what other people go through and how stuff is being done to another and how they're reacting to it, how it's affecting the people around them. Because it's not just, if something happens, like when we're growing up, my mom dated, there was a guy that I didn't like. I didn't get along with at all. That's who she had taken off and moved to San Antonio with, and I chose to stay here and live with my grandma. And to me, I was like, I saw how bad it was, and I hated it so much. And I was like, I don't want to be that dude. And the other person I didn't want to be was my dad.
Yeah.
He up and left us and left my mom to work jobs, my grandma to work jobs, and aunts to take care of us. And I just, when you get older, you realize that's not how it's supposed to be. This is not how life's supposed to be. And I wanted to break that cycle, that cycle, and what have you. And that's what every intent I had. I mean, I when I got into relationships early on in college, it was a serious relationship. That's all I knew. And I was like, I'm going to treat this girl right. I'm going to do everything by the book. And I did that. And I feel like I did that in my two early relationships early on in college. And they were long-term relationships. They were, both were for 4 to 5 years. Pretty much 10 years of my life right there. And both of them, I think anything and everything, yes, man, I'd bow down to him. I'd do all the cool shit.
Yeah.
And I was doing everything.
You were the yes man.
Yeah. It was crazy. And unfortunately, that first relationship, she cheated on me. The second one, she cheated on me. And it fucked me up. I mean, it really did. And I thought, damn, is this how it's supposed to be? And the second one, even more so, because, at the time I was very into church and all this stuff. We'd go to church theory left and right. And she would sit there and, you got to do it this way. I couldn't look at magazines that had girls in it, and I would listen. I'm like, okay, wouldn't do it. I mean, any little thing, I would listen. And if my friends were going out of town and they'd ask me, I'd ask for permission. Couldn't go, and I would stay. But she could do whatever she wanted. And we had a plan we talked about marriage, talked about kids. We're going to college together. We were going to graduate the same year. All this was laid out and planned. She cheated on me. And she told me, she was upfront about it. She called me and told me about it. She was out of town. She told me about it. And it fucked me up. And then we tried making it work. Back and forth. Never worked. Finally split up, and I thought that's when I was like, boom, and that was my turning point to live my life and be as independent as I am today, and traveling and doing things on my own and being solo and things like that for the longest time. But the sad thing about that, man, is once I got into personal training, the business, and I saw that a lot of women were doing it to guys and guys were doing it to girls, it changed my perspective on relationships, and it really damaged me a lot because I thought, this is how it is. Like,
Yeah.
this is how relationships are. Like, holy shit. Like, I felt like I was a joke to myself because I was like, what was I doing all this time? Like, doing all this cool shit, doing this cool shit. And unfortunately, it went into my next relationship, and it was just a back and forth deal. It became toxic, and then, we were together for another long time, and we handled the breakup very badly, and but now we're still good friends to this day, and we still appreciate each other, our friendship, and things like that, and we'd be cordial with one another, and that helped me grow though so much because it got me to the point where I could be independent. It also damaged me at the same time, but after that last relationship, I thought, I can be better, I can do better. I may not be what I once was, looking at 10 years ago,
Yeah.
but I can build off that person, I could build off that character and things like that. I mean, so it's such a back and forth game, man. It really is.
So it's so you're always if you want to learn more about yourself, you're always trying to be aware of like why you do the things you do and kind of what it is that's making you do the things you do. Because I mean, I can totally see it. You know what I mean? Like so this is my whatever I see it. I see a lot of women now are taking on the roles as men because men didn't take that role on.
But the thing is, what about Justin?
No. Or I see a lot of men are taking on like more a feminine role, and then as a yes man, you're operating in your feminine energy. That's just me personally. I was a yes man. I'm operating because there has to be a purpose. So I'm not saying yes to everything because it doesn't fit the purpose that my life is living. But if I'm saying yes to everything, then I'm operating in my feminine energy. And I felt like in my marriage, that's what I was doing. I was also a yes man. Yes. We didn't have the money, but I'm gonna take my black ass out there and I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to get that money, so that you can live the life that you want to live. So knowing that we just couldn't afford it at that time. And after a while, people start to use you. It starts becoming like a relationship, and it becomes like, what can this person do for me, and for how much, until they can't do it anymore. You get what I'm saying?
See, I think all relationships are give and take, but you as a person, it's important that you try and be, for me, try and be there for someone when they need you, like without expecting anything in return.
For sure.
But all the time it's a give and take, dude, in our relationships. When Justin brought up a good point, he was ready for a relationship because of what he went through, and he dealt with a lot of women that were young, whatever the fuck, and then now we have the rise of the fuckboys too. And I'm not saying Justin is a fuckboy, but that's also what's going on, dude. It's like, so it's not just men or women. It's not just men leading feminism.
Yeah, it's not. But it goes hand in hand. Like me and some buddies have this conversation all the time that and it's unfortunate. But being in the business that I'm in, it's rumors, it's this, it's that. You hear it all. But there's some females that do some bad, shady stuff. And we always say like, hey, some of these women are way worse than guys, way worse. Like, and it is what it is. I mean, laugh at it, lie, whatever. But I've heard plenty, I've seen plenty, whatever. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I've done my dirt when I was in relationships too. I've made my wrongs and things like that. And I chased stuff that I shouldn't have, and I was just in different spots, and I wasn't healthy up top to having a business, even be in a relationship.
Yeah.
I fucked up just like anybody else. But I mean, I think it all depends on the situation you're in and what your viewpoint is, and like we talked earlier, the trauma that you've been through can really affect you later on going through things like that. The same as when you grow up as a kid with parents treat you a certain way. That works the same way in relationships, man. A previous relationship can damage you for the next relationship, and that's why you have to figure out, hey, am I ready to take this step forward and do things? There's a reason why too. Like I try to take care of like my nieces and my nephews as much as I can and do for them, because
you relate.
Their dads weren't really around, and I relate to it because of the shit that I went through.
Yeah.
And the same, with my sisters. Like I try to be there for them all the time because our dads really weren't around that much. And so it's like, I was like, what, if I want to be, if I don't want to be that dude, then I can step into that role and just, actively act
cool.
like it and play that role, man, and show that I can be better in that sense, even if I don't have my own kids. And I've done my best, to do that, because I think that speaks more volumes.
Absolutely.
Because of what I can show them, whether it's by my actions or they can just sit there and watch, from afar or whatever, hearsay. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather be able to say, hey, he was a good dude, or he was respectful in this sense, or your peers have good things to say about you. You don't care about all this other rumor bullshit and people that, bad mouth you and don't really know you from afar. And, they just, oh, I heard this, I heard that. Oh, did you? Let's put some facts to it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'd rather my peers I have the respect of my peers more so than anything. So, anything can be damaging. It's as much as you allow it to be.
Gotcha.
And allow it into your life.
Damn. So hold on. So what I hear is, you just you fucked up the first two relationships as far as giving.
No. Watch your mouth.
Relax. As far as giving too much. Those hold on. So those.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, let me just have my little whatever, and then you can rebuttal. So those women wasn't ready for the love that you was trying to give them. Right.
Right, but I didn't fuck up by doing that though.
Well, no. Okay, so I guess it's the word fuck up is not the word that I was trying to use. I would not say sorry. But was there ever a time where you knew maybe this wasn't what I needed to be doing, or was there ever an awareness of man, I should probably get out of it, or you were just head over heels?
The first one, no, I was 100% I felt loved. I felt love. She would do for me. She would she was just as kind and loving as me. And honestly, both times it was because they were both out, too much alcohol, and they fucked up, whatever.
Yeah, but alcohol, they was already thinking about some shit.
No, but when you're around the wrong people,
with alcohol, trust me, I know.
It's 100% influence.
I know.
It makes everything you just, it's there wouldn't be all those memes for nothing. And it's when you're drunk, it's send her that text, send your ex that text, that type of thing. But
the dark side,
in both relationships, I'm not gonna sit here and say I didn't feel love, because I did. It was after the fact of finding out that you question everything.
Gotcha.
And then you wonder, what they're doing, or is what they're showing you after the fact of knowing, is that really their love, or is this just a show now? Are they just going over the top? Because when you have a fight and then you do the whole, oh, you want anything, you want to do this, you want to do that, blah blah. They're looking at you get the fuck out of here. Get it. You're just doing this shit because it's blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I question tenfold, because I had never been cheated on like that, and it fucking hurt. It tore my ass up. It messed me up. So
then it became a dog eat dog world. Fuck, if this is what's gonna happen, then I might as well beat you to the punch, because
that's exactly
I'm not gonna get hurt.
And that's what it was. Kind of my last long-term relationship, and it was like that. It was the, she's gonna do it to me. I'm gonna do this till the moment a girl's interested in me. Then they knew we were together, and then I started entertaining it, and I was like, man, you know what? Yeah, because she's gonna be doing this to me. I'm gonna get her and hide this before she comes and gets me.
Yeah.
Fucked up mindset.
Yeah.
But because of the trauma. I was trying to take it in my own hands and beat you to the punch, just in case you decide to cheat on me, hurt my feelings. I have this over here.
Yeah.
That's the reality of how a lot of people think.
What you're doing here is fucking perfect, dude, because it's raising awareness.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. We talk about awareness all the time, and I feel like when a person is aware of who they are, first and foremost, we rush into relationships all the fucking time without knowing who the fuck we are, or overcoming the trauma that we carry. Yeah. And then we bring that shit into the relationship and fuck everything up.
And I had this conversation, we were talking at the gym, it was Amanda and I about that too, and I told her straight up, my last serious relationship, that was serious, 3.5 years ago. And I'll say, I don't want to Dang, drop her. I feel bad. You know we know her.
She'll be on next week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. It
she'll
was.
be
I
on
mean,
here.
everybody knows that. Everybody knows Kelsey and I are
Yeah.
together. There's nothing wrong
She'll
with
be on
that.
here next week.
But Kelsey and I are good people now, and
Yeah.
we get along just fine. And I love her to death, and I'm happy for her, like whatever she does. And that took so much to say that, because if you would ask me 3 or 4 years ago, oh no, we're butting heads, we're at each other's throats, things like that. And I would have never imagined me saying that, like for her moving on or me moving on, whatever, to sit there and go like, hey, like we're good. Like we could be in the same room, could work together, so forth. Man, that is growth. That to me, that's so much growth and maturity right there. Because back then we didn't have that. We handled shit bad. It's just awful and it's stupid when you look at it. It was so much wasted energy, wasted time.
And damage being done.
Oh yeah. And you're just really just chopping each other down,
more trauma being created.
Yeah.
You know, so there's trauma created, and then now because of the breakup, there's more trauma created. And
and the worst part is that I feel like people could actually love each other, but they're unaware of who they are and what the fuck they're doing.
And that's the thing too. So you know, after that, like I had a realization of a lot of stuff, and I stepped away from a lot of stuff, and I just spent a lot of time alone, traveling, things like that alone, and people always, who are you with? You're with somebody there? But no, I'm not.
Yeah,
like,
you drink and drive a lot.
Yeah, I'll go drink and drive and be fine, get in my feelings, whatever. I'm completely fine. Looking out the window, like raining, and I'm completely fine
black
with that.
Clouds.
But because things like that, all black. But because things like that help me, like because I'm aware how I feel, and that is good for me to do. Like I need that. And so like when I travel alone, or if I go driving late at night, or if I'm just doing this on my own, it's just that I need to be away from people so I can process my own thoughts and so forth. And after that though, when I've tried dated, I was appreciative because I was more self-aware of myself. And a big thing that's always deal with me if I try to date anybody is my schedule. My schedule sucks. It is what it is. I either work super early or super late. I choose like I switch the times I go boxing. I go to 8 at night. Get out of that past 9, 9:30. By the time I'm getting home to sit down for dinner, past 10. It's time I want to go to bed, take a shower, you're looking 11:30. Repeat the process. Wake up at 4:30 in the morning and go to 5 a.m. Things like that. And when I've tried to date and people don't like that, and it's like, well, you get out too late, or you're too busy, this and that. It's like, I am, but and I'm sorry, but I'm not out there doing a bunch of other stupid bullshit. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing this, I'm taking care of myself.
I want you to understand this, and this is what I was saying. Were you doing that in your 2 previous relationships?
What?
Like, were you making time for yourself, or were you prioritizing yourself, or was this more of like what they needed?
No, but you have to think of it this way too, though. It's 2 different Justins and 2 totally different lives from what I have going on for myself now, and then back then. Back then it was such a shit. I would tell you right now, what I have right now, to have the gym and everything I do and blah blah blah. My life is way crazier and way busier now than it was then. Even though back then I was college, but back then to be a full-time college student, I was working full-time job and things like that. I was still very busy, but it was so much more of like a set schedule. Every week was set.
I got you.
Doing this, man, it's all over the damn place.
Why is it so unorganized though, bro?
It's not. No, I wouldn't say it's unorganized, but I would say like when you're let's say like we talked the other morning after 5 a.m. We stayed forever talking just about personal stuff. A bunch of us did.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at 6:30, boom, boom, and it's
time flies.
Time flies. You get caught up. But I appreciate the conversations. I appreciate, having that stuff and things like that.
That's why y'all should come to CrossFit 432. Shout out. Hey, I'm just shameless plug. Hey, if you live in Odessa, man, and you trying to find a gym, y'all stop being lazy. And maybe you're not lazy. Maybe you're already at a gym and you don't know what the hell you're doing. Come out to CrossFit 432. This is a sponsorship. I'm gonna get some money out of this.
I'm
gonna get
Aaron 69.
I'm gonna get a free membership. Hey, CrossFit 432.
But
Aaron 69 code.
But no, so now when I get out late, I think about those things and I go, man, I could maybe rearrange things or have someone work this class, have someone work this class, or get rid of boxing in the evenings and go another time. But do I want to do that?
Yeah.
No, because it keeps me healthier, keeps me sane up top, and it's such of a mental game for me. Like, that's my release, and that makes me a better person. So for me, that people don't understand that, and maybe the right person will. Maybe the right person will, but a lot of people don't understand that because they do the whole, well, if you really care, you'll make time for it. It's like, okay, that's cool, but I also have to take care of myself. I got to take care of myself, and
100%.
there's a reason why I feel like I'm in the position where I am today because of those decisions like that, because of calculated decisions like that. This isn't, I didn't.
So do you feel like you're walking in your purpose? Like, this is what you were put on this earth to do, and this is something that that no one is going to take away from you because you love what you're doing, and it's making you.
Now I do, but I was put in this position. I don't even know how you would say on accident. I mean,
yeah, for sure. That's usually how it goes.
Well, I mean, because when out of high school, I didn't want to go to college. I went because
The girl.
no, my mom wanted me to. Whatever. It was like, hey, what are you gonna do? This and that. Nobody else really gone to college except like my uncle, and she went for a little bit, but nobody really finished.
Yeah.
And like a university or whatever. And so I signed up. I signed up, worked at Blockbuster for 8 years. They were shutting down. I was already in college, didn't know what I was going to do. Buddy suggested training. I was already taking courses for like strength and conditioning, whatever. So I said, screw it. Paid the money to take the test. They sent it to me. It's all like self-paced modules online. I remember I loaded that stuff up and I was like, this shit is easy. And I took the test within a week at a testing center at Midland College. And then I passed like a 90 something. And next thing you know, they sent me a certificate. And I'm like, oh shit. And I got, Blockbuster was closing within like a 4 to 6 month period. I got a bunch of business cards made. And when people would buy or rent movies one of those last months, I would put one with all the movies I was checking out or selling. And that's how I got my first customer. Was because of that. But my plan in college was to graduate so I can coach and teach, and I was going to move to San Antonio. That was my plan. Personal training happened. I met the right people, the right outlets. They linked me up with other people. I was training at 3 different places. The gym came about, and then boom, we decided to do CrossFit, and it just blew up. And then here I am. That was never, you know what I mean?
That totally is fucking purpose. Like, it just doesn't happen. Like, that doesn't happen to people who aren't doing what they they need to be doing in their life.
It's like what I don't know if you remember when I said this when we had right before Grace at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Opportunities will come knocking and stuff like that. Luck, things like that may happen, but it's what you do with that opportunity if you take advantage of it.
Yeah.
You ready?
What's going to happen?
Luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And because I could have sat there when my buddy mentioned it and I'm like, no, that's not for me. And I could have just figured it out. Dude, because at that time, I remember I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. Blockbuster didn't know if they were going to give us like a severance package, nothing.
Yeah.
I had no idea. And I was dumb back then. They would always talk about 401k. I was like, I don't know what the hell that is. And I never signed up. That's one thing I regret from back in the day. Like, I wish I would have did that. Because I would always be like, no, I don't know what that is. Like, I was young. I didn't know what the hell that was about. And pretty much, I didn't have a lot of money stashed away. Like, not enough. I had a car. I had a rent in my apartment. I was like, what the fuck? I had a school to pay for.
Was still that Honda?
Yeah, I had a Honda Accord. I knew struggling when I first got into college, and I was terrified to go back to that. I was terrified to be just jack broke again, living a paycheck to paycheck. I didn't want to do that. And, it could have definitely went the other way, but I didn't know. And I took that opportunity, took the risk, and I knew how to work hard and I knew how to hustle.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what I did. And it paid off, man. I mean, it really paid off. And to this day, I still think of it that same way because, like I said, you can be humbled in a heartbeat. You can be humbled in a heartbeat. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. For instance, when you got the flat tire earlier in the week, humbling happens. Boom, life can change just like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, damn, what am I going to do? That could have went really, really bad.
Yeah.
You could have gotten a really bad wreck because of that. Things like that. I mean, it's all, like you said, perspective. but it's like that what is that when that happens to you and it's gonna stop you dead in its tracks, which way you're gonna go with it? Like how are you gonna look at it? What perspective? Are you gonna be pissing and moaning, or are you gonna go, hey, just gotta fix this, patch it up, move
Life
forward?
goes. I drove an Uber to the gym the next day. Like I'm just like, hey, it is what it is. Like
Yeah.
life isn't going to stop, and I need to work out.
Stuff like that, man. It's just it's all perspective. It's all when that opportunity is placed in front of you, what are you gonna do about it? And that's one thing I've always kind of just lived my life by, and especially when we got into working out more and things like that. I look at all it the same way, the same mindset, and that's what keeps me, tunnel vision.
Got you. You had a question?
No, I feel like we covered it.
And it kind of, going back to the biography of Justin Cardano. No, but coming back full circle, like about my dad.
We're gonna have him back on again. Apparently,
a crazy thing. Even full circle. With like my dad, he was never around. My sister, when I was in college, so his brother. So I guess it'd be his niece. They're all kind of the same type of dudes. One day she came into Blockbuster, asked for an application hire, and said yes, whatever. She walks out, comes back in after she turns her application, and she goes, I think you're my cousin. And I was like, I just kind of laughed and said, well, that's a first. And she goes, no, really. And she goes, what's your last name? Well, I told her my last name, but her last name's on my dad's side. I was like, huh? And I asked them to pull her application out of the basket, and they pulled out. I'm like, holy shit, and I hired her. And we're really close to this day.
Are y'all cousins?
Yeah. We're her dad is my dad's brother.
Damn.
But me and her are very, very close to this day.
That's crazy.
And we built that relationship so well. Well, then my sister introduced them, whatever. And then my sister wanted to try to get a relationship because he has other kids and blah, blah. So she did that, and she had asked me, like, hey, do you want to hang out with us, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I don't want anything to do with it. Like, I want absolutely nothing to do with it. And around that time is when I was saying earlier that I had asked my mom what happened between them, and it was a whole back and forth how he claimed that I wasn't his and this and that, but she had paternity tests done and what have you. The very next day, it was the week before my 22nd birthday. He was still living in the same spot. I went out there. I drove out there by myself. He didn't know I was going, obviously. I hadn't seen this dude in fucking forever. And I knocked on the door, and he answered the door, and it's like he saw a ghost. And he said, so what's up? What can I do for you? And I said, I just want to ask you some questions. And
what compelled you to do that?
Like I said earlier, because it was that trauma. I always wondered what happened between my mom and my dad. Because when we were growing up, we'd get in trouble and always be like, I'm going to call my dad and pick me up. But he was never coming.
Yeah.
He was never coming.
Yeah.
It's how it was. I didn't know that, though. I was so young and dumb. I thought, he's going to come pick me up one day. He's going to pick me up one day.
It wasn't dumb.
I wouldn't say
that. I'm about to say, like, yeah. But I was just, but back then, you just don't know better. So I was compelled to do it. So that's when I asked my mom. So I drove his house, and he let me in. He had a long table we sat down at, and I told him straight up, I said, I'm going to ask you some questions. I said, but I don't want you to badmouth my mom, my grandma, or my aunts that helped raise me and my older sister. It's okay. And we started talking, and I asked him, I wanted to know, I asked him, same way I asked my mom, I want to know what happened between him and mom. And the first thing I have to jump to, he tries to start badmouthing my grandma. I was like, I told you. I was like, we're not doing this. So there's changing his tone and tells me his side of it, whatever. So I let him say it, and I wasn't even there that long. And I said, okay. I said, I just want to ask you one more thing. And he's like, what is it? And I said, do you think that I'm your son? And he just sat there, like, froze up. And, this is a long, like, dinner table. He's looking at me, and he looks down. And I said, well, and he looks at me and he says, no, I don't. And I literally looked at him. I said, you're a fucking coward. And I got up. I remember I threw a chair across his dining room. I walked out. That was it. I remember I drove away, and I was just bawling my eyes. I was crying like a baby. And I called my mom, and she said, what's wrong? And I told her what I did. She goes, I didn't know you were going to go and do that the very next day. And it's not. I was like, I didn't know either. Just like, I was like, I'm going to do this.
You wanted to know.
But since then, that was I closed my book right there. Yeah. That escaped me. I was like, no more. This is on to better you. Like, you want to be better. You're no more with that. And then after that, I never saw him, and it wasn't honestly. And I have cousins that I hang out with that they know him real well, and they talk to him whatever, and it doesn't bother me. But what's crazy is he has other kids, whatever. But earlier this year, I just got the car I'm in now, and I was at Grub. So I go different places to program. I was programming, and I was sitting there, and there's the bar's right here, and there's a little wall beside me, a little cubby part. And I'm programming. And I just got like.
What do you mean programming?
For the gym, the workouts. I was programming the workouts. And my vision has got, cloudy, and I was like, sitting there thinking. I look around. At the end of the bar is a guy with his head down, and has a hat on, and I just knew it was him. Like I knew it was him. And I had heard right before this through my mom that he had, told my mom's best friend's his cousin, and was like that he wanted to reach out to offer his condolences when my grandma passed away. And as soon as I saw him, I thought about that. And I thought, I hope he doesn't come try to do that shit because it's going to piss me off. Like I'll be hot-headed, whatever. So I sat there and I thought about that for a bit. And I was like, I need to get the hell out of here because I'm just going to get out of here. So I started getting my shit, my laptop, my Spire, whatever. And I just get up and I walk out and I go to my car, and it kind of like got me though. I was kind of like, okay, just going out. And I was finishing what I was doing. I remember I was punching the rest of the workout on my phone. And I look up because I saw someone walking, and it's him right there walking right beside my car. And he's parked right in front of me. In like this old, like just, it's like this old beat up little red car or something. I think it was red, little car. I didn't feel the type of way, but I felt good. And the only reason I felt good is because I was driving what I was driving, and I thought, I did this shit without you.
Sure, I felt
and I'm not gonna lie,
it
made me, it got me like emotional just because since I like, man, like it felt good. I felt, not that I needed the validation, but it made me feel good for him to see that and for him to be in what he was in.
Yeah.
And kind of go, you know what, I'm doing better than you are.
Yeah.
As like, and without your ass and what you did to my mother and me and
I'm
sister.
also taking care of your responsibilities, which isn't cool, but it's something that you as a person, as a man, you had to do.
Yeah, and it made me feel so good. I remember I drove off and I got emotional, I got tears in my eyes, and it made me feel good. Nothing, not a word. Not a word. And he knows who I am. He knows who I am. I mean, it's like one of those things. It is what it is. I think, at this stage, he knows what, he knows not to say. It's a smart decision not to say. No, he was parked there. He was leaving. He was leaving. I didn't realize he was leaving. The same deal. But
so do you think him not being able to talk to you, do you still think there's some trauma that hasn't been resolved within you to be able just to
I wouldn't say within me any longer.
Yeah.
But if I had to think about it, I would think that he has the trauma. Because I can't see that in the back of the head, like some dude doesn't take care of his kids or responsibilities. I just don't see how there's no way that doesn't sit there.
Well, I mean, if I'm saying the anger. Because there's still anger within you.
I don't have no anger. No, okay. I have no anger.
Well, you said
it would have got me upset if he would have came off condolences to my grandma. Because he used to.
I got you.
That's why.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
All right.
But yeah.
I got you.
Dude, that's awesome, man, that you should. I have more respect for you for that, bro.
Oh, so you just disrespect me before or what?
No, I didn't like you, bro.
I mean, he had like a little respect, and now,
like if it was
he has more.
You and like Hitler. It was
Jesus,
man.
You're even now.
Yeah.
It's a tie.
Well, people at the gym.
We need to go to the camera.
Yeah, people at the gym think you're awesome.
No, you took too long.
I'm not trying to get canceled, man. I've only been on 9 episodes, and so I feel like we're teetering with Edmy's. I like gay people, but I'm like, Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Not once, but twice. But no, well, we kind of went on a tangent. I don't mind. I enjoy these conversations, and we had a specific topic, but I'm never I'm never keen to like keep up with the same topic. Even when I had a class, I kind of go with the flow, and so Yeah, I do. I appreciate
You know why that's
vulnerability. I love it.
You know why that's good?
Huh.
Because sometimes I feel when I started my podcast,
Uh-huh.
it's not so much about me.
Oh, yeah.
But about other people.
Also, go check out Edmy's podcast, Let's Be Real. It's on Spotify and Anchor right now.
Yeah, and Google Podcasts.
And Google Podcasts.
Also on Apple or what?
Also a fantastic. It's a fantastic podcast.
You do. You have an Android.
Yeah.
You like this guy.
He has 2 Androids, man.
Wow.
They're like, you want to get a new iPhone or you want to stay with the old crappy
You
Android?
gotta get the
respect you,
iPhone.
but now I disrespect you.
Oh man, how did that make you feel?
Right
Yeah.
The thing is, I look to my right and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
But no, I appreciate y'all jumping on and being vulnerable and open. Justin.
Pay me.
No, I mean, you pay me, man. I mean, I put your gym out there, brother. You know what I mean? Like, I need some.
We gotta wait for the promo.
I need.
Nothing's rolled in yet.
Yeah. Aaron Thomas 69. Is that what the promo code? Ask for Aaron Thomas 69, and you'll get a one week free of CrossFit. 1 week free of CrossFit.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's not a maybe. You 100% get 1 week free. But that's for everybody, you know. It's not like it's not like a special. I probably shouldn't have said that. No, it is a special. 1 week free of CrossFit 432. Come see me, and everyone who signs up. Yeah, again, come see me. I'm the guy. I'll hook you up.
The plug.
Yeah, I'll be the plug. But no, man, I appreciate the conversation, Justin. I appreciate you. Being open and vulnerable. Edmy, same way. I just think this is where real change began. Yeah, in the trenches, having these conversations.
True.
And I also, again, I mean, we talked about it whenever Maribel and Lapita were on here, Edmy, but healing comes from speaking. I know for a fact that, in my life, I have been healed because I started to speak about the things that have happened in my life. And so I'm able to, grow from that. And so I appreciate y'all jumping on and, hopefully there was some healing processes that happened, during this podcast. And, for the people out there listening, if you're going through some things or, if you have trauma that is, that you're trying to figure out where it's coming from, go to someone and start having that conversation and start talking about it because it really will help your life. So, any last words, Edmy and Justin? Grenada?
No, thank you for having us. It was great.
Yeah,
It was
I appreciate
awesome. It was a good,
Always a good time linking up.
For sure. We might. I've been thinking about putting Justin on once a month. I don't know. We'll see.
Think about it.
Yeah, he's not thinking about it. He'll do
I'll
it.
think about it
Yeah.
if I can fit you in.
Yeah, I 100% could be in your schedule, mother trucker. But yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for listening. Again, like, subscribe, share this content because I really do think this is going to be something that's going to help change the world. Not only because men are sitting down, being open and vulnerable and talking, but because this world
brings
needs
awareness,
it.
bro.
And again, it brings awareness.
Yeah.
Awareness is big. So
yeah.
thank y'all for listening. Y'all have a good day.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And for daily, motivational, and up-to-date content, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Excellence Above Talent. And remember, keep moving forward, never give up, and you are never alone in this battle. We'll see you next time.